Welcome, Laetitia. Let's sit.
Hello, Thibaut.
Thank you so much for being with us. I must say that you've always been more than a client. You've been a real partner. If you remember, first time you gave me a call, you were at Google back then, and we were lucky enough and very proud as Numbly. We were a baby company back then to be working with Google as a client. I don't know if I was allowed to say that, but I said.
You are.
So thank you so much for being here. You had an amazing international professional journey. You've worked at Google, as I said, for 4 years, first in Paris, then in Hong Kong. You have an incredible total of close to 18 years at L'Oréal. Almost half of it was spent at L'Oréal USA in New York, where you managed some great brands like Soft Sheen Carson, which you launched, Maybelline, Yves Saint Laurent Beauté, and 2 years ago, you made this innovative, bold choice to come to the real capital of the world, exactly. London, of course. So congratulations. You are now Chief Digital and Marketing Officer for L'Oréal UK and Ireland. We're so happy to have you here. So, Laetitia, we have almost 15 minutes together, and then we'll open up for questions. We wanted to jump right in the water. I don't know if you say that in English, but let's. Who cares? Could you maybe tell us a bit more about how you see this idea of building and maintaining a data ecosystem that I just tried to explain for L'Oréal UK? And I think I have a slide for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm super aligned with everything you said. Obviously, I relate to the Heels example that you showed. I think data is super critical for us. We're a consumer company, so we've always been about knowing our consumers, knowing as much as possible about them. So data, the shape of data has changed, but forever, we've been trying to know what consumers were thinking, what they were doing, how they were behaving. So I think right now we have even more information through what they do online, but the story is the same. This data then informs what products we do, what content we do, how we advertise, what media we do. So we're absolutely convinced that data is the fuel, as we say, for a lot of our marketing initiatives. And today, we're trying to organize this data more and more. So we have our 1P data. I don't know if you have the slide, maybe that's easier, but I think we have clearly limited but good 1P data that's coming from what we do in direct-to-consumer on our own websites, but also in offline events. When we connect with consumers, we collect some of this data. So we have a pool of 1P data, and a lot of this data is also coming from beauty tech. L'Oréal is a big advocate of beauty tech. When we do all the services, if you take a skin diagnostic, if you do a makeup trial online, then it gives us really rich information. So we have this 1P data pool that's important to us, but it can't leave without the collaboration with others. And then we are trying to build more bridges with the retailer data. And we see here, we work a lot with Boots, with THG, with Tesco, with their own data, which obviously will complement ours, and they know things about our consumers, because most of our consumers don't buy directly from L'Oréal. They buy L'Oréal at Boots, so you need to know what they've been doing at Boots. And then, of course, there is almost a third ecosystem, that's Amazon, which is both a retailer, but also now a huge advertising partner, and there's a lot happening on Amazon as well for us, and we're trying to connect these three ecosystems, obviously through clean rooms, with the help of enablers like you, Thibaut, and that's the story we have right now. And then the activation of this data can be just insights. It's important also for our sales team to know that this thing is happening, so then this promotion would be actually relevant, but it could also be activation in media, which is probably the biggest use case that we have. And I'm sure we'll discover other use cases for this data. Sometimes it's product creation. We see that there's a need for a product, and then we brief our labs. And this need has been identified through the collaboration in data.
If you start saying that data collaboration goes beyond media, I think someone in the room will be very happy. And Sorin, I think of you, of course. But we'll get back to this. Thank you for this slide. Thank you for sharing. I think it's very self-explanatory, and it gives an actual, real, idea of how you see that. So back to this notion of data collaboration, maybe you could tell us a little bit how this idea of data collaboration fits into your vision and approach. And again, I think you prepared some a slide for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of almost fictitious ideas, but the way we see data collaboration is we know something about a consumer, about their behavior, and our retailers, our partners know something else. And when we put these two things together, new ideas come up and emerge. And I think that's exactly what we want to be doing. So I'm not saying we've done all of this, but if I take example D here, we know that, for example, a consumer has done Spot Scan, which is one of our apps, of our L'Oréal apps, on La Roche-Posay, and they have blemishes, they have acne, and they've taken a whole journey for what would be the right products on La Roche-Posay to treat their acne. And then we match them with the same consumer at a retailer, and we realize that in this retailer, they only shop basic skincare. And we're like, wait, you have acne, you shop basic skincare, how can we upsell you and make sure that you actually shop acne skincare or for blemishes? And here we create a common offer with the retailer, and we create maybe specific content, we push this in advertising, we find a segment, and we target this kind of retailers that have taken a diagnostic here, but are still buying basic skincare to upsell them for the kind of product that we would like them to buy. This is a very simple and theoretical example, but that's what we have in mind when we're talking about data collaboration.
No, absolutely. And we can hopefully all understand from a technical standpoint, or I see all the tech people here in the room thinking like, oh my God, this is what brands really want. This is going to be something. Yes, that's a challenge. But look, this is what makes sense from a consumer standpoint, what makes sense from a brand standpoint. So now it's our role to make it happen. And I see some retailers in the room, and let's work on this. Let's make it happen, because it's more obviously than media. It's more than buying a segment of people who did this and that, and that's it, and buy some display ads just because the retailer needs some profitability. Look, this is going, really into the weeds of how to make things work and make sense from a consumer standpoint. Thank you so much for this. Now, of course, we have this question about your third pillar that you mentioned already, which is Amazon and AMC clean room of Amazon. So we have Stein and Amazon people in the room. That will be fantastic to chat with them right after with our panel. But maybe your vision on this, Laetitia.
But I think Amazon is very sophisticated in terms of data. So for us, it's always probably the partner that's the most ready to do a lot of what we have in mind. And it's where we are, it's both a retailer for us, but it's also a big advertising partner. So I feel that the Amazon collaboration is quite obvious. There's been lots of new features and possibilities open to us on AMC recently. And we feel that now is the time to really scale usage of AMC, because it's proving for us, we've been able to test it. It's proving to work really well. And AMC is I'd say it's a ready-to-use way to go for us. So I think, again, this is just the explanation of AMC, so you know what it is and you know the clean room that it is. But for us, it's quite recent that we're putting our 1P data in AMC. So there's really this match rate is important. So we have our L'Oréal data in AMC now, and from there we can derive insights, we can derive media activation. And I think on the next slide we're showing the kind of use cases we're thinking of. So, for example, and it's not a beautiful slide, but we're looking at like the
it's
men.
It's okay, Laetitia.
We're looking at the men target. We know L'Oréal is not that big on men. We're still new to this, but men are using beauty more and more. So we know that they're using this much beauty. L'Oréal is only here. There's an opportunity to grow L'Oréal on this men target and even to bring more men to the beauty world. So there's a double opportunity there. And AMC allows us to combine multiple audiences to go after these men. So you can use the one that have searched anything that is clearly a men-oriented product. So you can use people that have searched our own products or that have bought our own products, so the men expert buyers. So you have the 4 men searches. You have the one that have clicked on ads that are clearly ads for men that we can use. You have the cart abandoners that have tried something. And we basically take all these specific targets. We get to a pretty big qualified audience. In this case, we got to 3 million. So I think it's also super interesting because it gives you the reach that you can have there. We're not talking about a tiny audience here. And what we've been looking at, because it's also what L'Oréal is interested in this case, it's recruitment to our brand. We can measure this new to brand. And suddenly, on this big target, this male target, we're seeing we have a big target, and we're seeing that the new to brand is actually better than on our benchmark ads. So we see the value of AMC in this case because it's well defined. I mean, the tool is very powerful, but we're also very clear about what we're looking for.
You know, I love this example because I think that you're talking about a KPI, new to brand, which is inherently incremental. By definition, if you're new to brand, it means that you were not before. So it's not, obviously, some customers would have become customers by themselves. So we can fine tune this. But overall, we're looking at a KPI which is very sophisticated and way more than return on ad spend. Let's put the word here, which is used 99% of the case. And return on ad spend is about attribution and about connecting who was exposed with who purchased, but there's no causality. So if you look at metrics or KPIs like this one, I think we'll have opportunity to to discuss this later, but this is very interesting and important. And so thanks for sharing. And then I think you had this last case. We can move forward. So you know what? You're going too fast because you're talking about measurement already. So my question was around how do you approach measurement and compare success between your different platforms and KPIs?
You partly answered it because I think, of course, we'll look at CPA, we'll look at ROAS, etc. But all the platforms have different attribution windows, different ways to measure this. And for us, it's extremely complicated. So I'm not saying we're not looking at it. We are looking at what the platforms are giving us. But we've had two changes of mindset recently. One is that for the beauty industry, consumers are less and less loyal and are not loyal by nature because beauty is about discovering new things and that's the new makeup that I want. And then so it's not really realistic to think that people will stick to a brand all the time and will stay within that brand because it doesn't happen like this. Any woman here can relate. They go to Sephora, they buy anything. So I feel that we've gone back recently to thinking, let's look at recruitment. You constantly need to recruit new people to your brand and make sure you increase your penetration. So instead of saying, I'm going to look at loyalty, I'm going to have like churners, which are important too, I think we went back to recruitment. So that's why new to brand is super important for L'Oréal. And that's why recently we've really focused, especially data efforts, on new to brand. How do we bring more people to our brands? That's one thing. And then the second thing is, yes, we look at all the measurement provided by our partners, but we also want to have our own idea and common language in terms of measurement. So we've created internal programs on measurement based on MMMs, but we have our internal measurement tool that measures all the touch points. It's not real time, it's just once a year or a few times a year, so it doesn't give us real-time approach like campaign by campaign, but it gives us big directions in terms of the touch points that are working for us and the touch points that are less working. So I think when we take the partners measurement, we add our layer of once or twice a year internal measurement, and we keep our north of recruitment. That's how we approach measurement today.
Wow. You know, in French, we have this saying which goes like replacer l'église au centre du village, place the church in the middle of the village. Obviously, it doesn't tell anything to English speakers, but apologies for that. But I think you got the picture. And thanks for doing this, Laetitia, because at the end of the day, you know, you're talking recruitment, you're talking penetration, you're talking reach. And that's great to hear. I can see Byron Sharp in the air somewhere here. But you're also talking about loyalty. And that will be a good, nice, easy question for my friend Sorin later on, obviously. Not an easy one. I know he can process already. But thanks. I mean, very interesting. And I love this idea that you are questioning measurement, that you don't want to only rely on what is being given. And this is what we meant in the beginning with data collaboration. So So last question before opening up for question in the audience. Laetitia, this is nice. You're a visionary leader. No question about that. But, how to make this happen in your organization? Do you just want to answer this question?
Yeah, I don't think we have a set answer for that. I think it's changing all the time. I have a few people from my team here, and they know themselves how much we're trying new things and changing. What's for sure is that it's a collaboration between a lot of teams, and it has to be, first and foremost, a collaboration between the business and the experts within our teams. And the business being the product managers, the heads of marketing, the GM of the brands, they have to come to us with a problem to solve, a question, something that for which they need data. And if it doesn't start with them, it doesn't work, because the other way around, we're not going to be able to convince them that, oh, look at this, and then it's interesting. So it has to start from the business. Once we have the business, then we, in my team, I have a team of experts, both data analysts, CRM specialists, and media specialists, that will then build the right insights, the right audience, and the right activation for the data that we've analyzed. But again, and we have to work more and more by task forces and by tribes, or however you want to call this. So it's never one people, and it seems very complex, because I know it's painful to manage a collaboration between 5, 6 different teams, but that's what we have today when we're talking AMC work, retailer media, etc.
Yeah, thank you. Because how to unsilo organization on such a topic is an incredible challenging thing, and I'm sure we have lots of people in the room who have questions or ideas. You can have ideas if you have solutions. I have one I can mention and will be sharing later on, which is upskilling. We believe that upskilling is also a way, just exposing this, what we said, and sharing with others. That's why we decided we'll be showing later on, but to offer certificates normally, because we believe that there is so much of a change here. You don't want media teams to say, oh, this is not, data collaboration is not part of my job. You don't want CRM teams to say the same thing, but you want them to collaborate with the measurement people, as you said. So it takes a whole village, again. Thank you so much. We're right on time for questions. Do we have questions in the audience here or remote? Please take advantage of Laetitia's presence. Yes, Morgan has the mic. Yes, we have a question here in the front row. Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you very much, Laetitia. I think this is fantastic. For most brands, this is nirvana, what you
Question
showed.
from Sorin Patilinet.
Yes, question from me. I think many brands are not where L'Oréal is today, but I'm very curious. You will be in 3 years from now on this stage. What will you shine with?
What will I shine with?
Yes. What do you think the future will bring for L'Oréal in this space?
I think a lot of what I'm showing is hopefully what will really happen in 3 years, because I think we're doing a lot of this, but not at the scale that I want to be. So I feel that AMC is just starting. We still have a lot of partners that are giving us some data, but not the right level of granularity of data that we would like to have. We still have the teams that are learning how to operate with data. So we're pretty clear about where we're headed. But I think in 3 years, I'd be really proud that we've increased our data usage by 2-fold, 3-fold, and that we've scaled this and we've made it more seamless for everyone in the organization to use. So I think we have the fundamentals in place. We know what the absolute goal is, but I would be lying if I was saying that everything is easy and that, oh, we're so sophisticated, because all of this takes a lot of work, a lot of pain, a lot of mistakes as well. And there are countless campaigns where we do them and eventually the results are not bad, but not good. And then what do we do when it's in the middle, you know, and you're like, it's not that easy. So I think in 3 years, I'd be really happy if we had like our proven use cases that we have scaled, not that many, but maybe 2, 3, 4, that we have scaled big times and we can go massively on them, and it's less of a pain for everybody because people have done it and they know how to do it with their eyes closed. So that would be my answer.
That sounds like a great plan. Thank you, Laetitia.
Do it with your eyes closed.
Do we have one last question in the room or remote? Yes, Stefano from Smartbox, please.
So, thank you for the example. Actually, I was salivating when I was looking at it.
You were what?
Salivating.
Salivating.
Yeah,
All
because I was
right.
like,
We
that
have
is so
salive
good,
in the front row,
it's
just
like
to share.
I want it. So you are very kind in also sharing that actually it was not all easy and a straight line. And I'm curious to see if you had to go back, what would you do differently to actually make it easier for you and your team to get where you guys are today? That is very advanced for many of us.
I think, I think we would. It's more in the infrastructure of data. It's still a bit painful for us because it wasn't structured necessarily correctly in the right way for us. So we've had a lot of like technical work to do, and I feel that had we known better, we probably would have structured it differently. We'd have connected more data to our data pool, because right now we're still fighting a little bit to get the CRM data together with the tech data, together with the offline data. Like all of this would be ideal, but sometimes it sits in very different environments. So I think had we known better, we would have like created for the future a little bit more in the technical part, which I think is one thing. And then sometimes the collaboration that I was discussing, I feel we're still very siloed, and there's still a lot of like transformation work that could have been started earlier.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Laetitia. It was a great pleasure. I
Thank
think you
you.
set the stage, you launched it. It couldn't have been better. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day,
Thibaut. Thank
great
you.
rest of the week. And now, after this amazing opening talk, it's my pleasure to welcome our first roundtable of the morning to the stage, led by Laure and Anya, with our guest speakers, Anne, Stefano, and Stein, some new accents in the room.